Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie, and I wanted to contact and get you in contact with people that have gone through the Akashic Record Consultant Certification course. So first off, we're going to chat with Kate Megee today. And so I just would like to introduce her, and we're just going to chat a little bit about the course and how she found it and what she took from it, and just any feedback that she might have to share with you if you are thinking about signing up for the course. So welcome, Kate. And would you like to share a little bit about yourself and your business and where you live and what you're up to currently?
Yeah. So my name is Kate Megee, and I am an intuitive coach and Akashic Record Reader, all thanks to Katie and this course. And I live in Japan, but have an online coaching business. And I have brought together the coaching skills that I have with the Akashic Records. And that for me has been a really powerful shift I felt for my business and for my clients. And discovering the Akashic Records really felt for me like a missing piece that I wasn't quite feeling like I could get the value out of the coaching skills I had. I loved what we could do, but I just felt like there was one extra layer that I really needed to really help people. And stumbling across the Akashic Records has been amazing, not only for my clients, but also for me personally. So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Wonderful. And so you did mention that you already had a coaching business happening. So I know for some people, they will be in that similar situation of adding like a new thing or thinking about, oh, could I add something new? So did you know at the beginning that you definitely wanted to add this in, or it was just this pull from the Akashic Records, or how did that go for you?
So when I saw this course to sign up, I just felt very pinged by it. I was just like, well, this would be amazing even for myself, right? Because I loved having readings with you, and it actually felt like one of those moments where just everything aligned, and I had the money and I had the time, and it just all happened very quickly. So I was like, okay, this is meant to happen. I'm meant to do this. I'm just going to go with it. And then I did have a lot of questions for you, actually, because I'd never really thought of myself as intuitive. When I remember asking you a lot of questions saying, am I meant to already have the ability to be, in my terms, it was psychic or whatever, but have those kind of skills, because I didn't realize actually maybe that I have naturally got some of that, which I think everybody does once you know how to do it. So no, going into it, it didn't necessarily think that I was going to add this in, but as soon as we started doing the work and I realized what we could do and how we could connect with people in that way and the types of information that would come forward, I really realized really quickly this feels, and it felt very in my body like, oh wow, here's the missing piece I've been looking for, not only for myself, a part of me that had been missing. Like I honestly felt like I felt like the needle dropped into the record. Like there was just this, finally, here's this piece. So yeah, it was really powerful personally, but also then to realize a different way I could help my clients really make changes, because we can get, so much deeper to the things that they're stuck on or struggling with, that I think that maybe sometimes in our mind, when we think about things or talk about things, we're not accessing, because it's more on that soul level, or in our past, or in our inner child. That was a lot of stuff that kind of started coming forward for me. So I was just like, oh, this is fascinating. And I quickly wanted to bring that into my business once I got it going.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. And just for everyone tuning into this, that I want them to know that you are an amazing oracle, and how much that came forward for you in the course of unlocking that and getting to see your growth within owning that and claiming it and really tapping into it. So that was such a beautiful thing for me to witness and to support you through. Are you feeling good about owning that oracle part of yourself now?
Yeah, like that, and I guess that's part of the piece too, was that I found a piece of myself that I honestly had been searching for up until I did do the course. And it was that spiritual side of me and this piece of me that's wanting to come forward. But hidden under a lot of fear, a lot of fear that I've even been working through since, doing the course, because I've been trying to put myself out there, and then also noticing there's still this sort of ceiling that I had to really, really claim it, because as we've discovered in our sessions as well, there's past life stuff where I've done this before, and that really, really came to the surface actually a few months ago when I wanted to really just proclaim to my newsletter list, like I still hadn't really just told them. And I ended up writing an email, and I had physical reactions that I knew this isn't my stuff now. And I had these memories of being like walked down the gallows and, booed at and wanting to shrivel up and die, never experience that again. So I had to sort of sit with that and claim and own this part of me, because it makes me so happy, brings me so much joy. And being able to facilitate this with people feels so right and so amazing. So yeah, it's been a journey to claim that, but one that has really felt like it's opened up so much more for my life, because once I accepted it and owned it, it's just been a knock on, and other channels of ways of doing this work and have opened up, and I've been practicing that, and meeting new people, and it's brought me so much joy. It's really, it's been awesome.
Yes, that is awesome. And so I know you mentioned at the beginning of feeling like you didn't know if you were intuitive enough, and now me just mentioning that you already had this beautiful gift for other people that might be like, well, she already had the gift. Do I have any gifts or intuitive gifts? Like, how would you, now looking back on it, the questions you had about, are you intuitive enough? Can the course walk you through that? Can it assist you? What do you have to have coming into it? How do you look back on it now?
I think you just have to have the willingness to learn, because honestly, I still doubted the very first time. You're like, okay, so now you're going to open someone's records, and I'm like, okay, this is the moment that I'm going to realize I can't do this. And of course we've got our human mind that tells us that, but it was incredible experience. And I remember I got hot and sweaty, and it was full on experience. But then after that, it's just like, oh wow, like through the course we keep reading for each other, and that initial moment that kind of felt like honey or molasses of trying to receive information, the second time was a bit easier, the third time it was a bit easier. Every single time doubt in my mind came forward that this is the time it won't work, but you just got to keep getting in there and trying it and doing it. So it is a skill you can learn 100%, and I think it's just about understanding how, because we don't know that, we don't get taught that in a normal life. So that was powerful, just what you taught us in the course about and the support you gave us too, to just hold the space of like, this is what you're picking up, and you're in there with us, so helping us understand what we were bringing forward. So 100% a learned skill, and it is innate in us, I think. And then now I can look back on my life and see, actually there's been moments where I was doing this but without ever realizing it, and I probably in those moments then just had my mind kick in and be like, totally dismiss it. So it's there, and it's just a really beautiful course that teaches you how to hone that, to even then get to know really which ways you do receive information. And then once you know that, you see it so much more in your own life that you are actually doing it quite naturally, and then you can start to sort of lean into that more and then trust it. And then the big piece for me was after the course was that I just went out and I practiced so much to get over my own doubt in my head that I know I have with everything I do. And I just wanted to really tackle that head on, so that I felt confident to just say what I see, say what I sense, and get over it. So I want to say that to anyone that's, goes into this, that just get in there and practice, because you will doubt it. Sometimes even now I get on the call and like, will anything happen? And of course it does. But it's just that practice, and it is totally a skill that builds and opens. It's truly incredible actually to experience.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. Yes. And I totally agree of that. There's still times when people ask questions and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to say. And I just start talking, but I think that has helped me build like, okay, I'm really tapping into something here that's beyond my mind, because my mind is like, you don't know what you're going to talk about. And then you say something. So that's, like that's always confirmation for me that I'm in a state that's beyond what my mind could perceive. Is that how it feels for you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you have those moments where someone asks a question and your whole body goes, oh my God, like, I don't know, how am I going to help that person, or how am I going to answer that? But that's the thing, exactly, that you realize it's not actually you doing it. In a sense, you're receiving the information, and all you have to do is say what you see, say what you hear, say what you sense, because it's for them, that's their information. And yeah, that's it's sort of learning how to step out of your own way. And that's been a practice too, I think, of, my mind is one part, that this isn't part of my mind, this is part of something else. So mind, you just sit over here for a bit while I do this thing, yeah, absolutely. Like and again, you just got to come back to trusting and opening up and allowing, because exactly, there's such an incredible array of information in there that you ask the question, something will come forward. And we don't need to necessarily know anything about what the client asks, because what we're tapping into and what we're receiving, that's where that's coming from. It's not from us, or there's moments, of course, when we can offer our experience, or as a coach, have a coaching moment within there. But for the most part, the stuff that I say exactly is coming to me for them. So yeah, it's a beautiful experience.
Yes, and that was a beautiful way you described it. I appreciate that. For you personally, like, I know I've described how it feels for me when I open someone's records. Do you feel like the same when you open your records versus someone else, or like, how would you describe just that feeling? And then I guess, when did you know that you were actually in the records for the first time, like have that knowingness?
Yeah. So I think, of course, the first few times there's so much doubt in your mind that, and when we were in the training too, like there was a lot of more energy in my body too. I think as we started to start to open up, like I felt a lot of heat, like I said, after that first one, I think I was like sweating. And then as time went on, I, can remember many readings I was doing as a practice, that the entire time I'm, opening the records and saying what we say to open the records, that in my mind the whole time, while I'm sort of still talking to myself in my head or to the client, it's going, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. So I started to just really practice saying, before I did all of that, of like, I asked my mind just to step aside, to really just, open up that this is going to happen. So I really had to practice that. But then I think when I can calm my mind, or when I could get to that point of just letting my mind settle a little bit, really be intentional about what I was invoking and bringing in, there definitely were moments where you could sort of feel that sort of subtle energetic shift. There's almost like a visceral feeling of, there's a little bit more energy here. And I think for me, my experience was, it's quite different for each person. Some people, I felt that a lot. Other people more subtly. But that sort of was my moment where I knew things were open. And then again, of course, once you start asking a question, and then for me it's visual, so that visual starts to come in, and not dismissing the first thing that comes up, just say it. And like, that's kind of the first hurdle, get over it, just say it. If it doesn't resonate, no problem. And I say that to my clients every time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, great, let's just get that out of the way. And, that gave me a lot of permission to just be like, okay, this is really happening. And so I think, and like I said, as time's gone on, there's this sort of less visceral sense for me. There's just more of a knowing, I think, of like, we're open, we're in. So maybe also, for anyone thinking about doing it, not having an expectation that there'll be some sort of like, oh, it's open. Because for me, I would say now that's less of an experience. I just know that we're ready to go. If that makes sense. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I think you also asked me, was there a difference between opening mine and someone else's? And I still, to this day, I think it's the mind too. Opening my own does feel different to someone else. And it's always been a bit more challenging for me to open mine, but I think there's so much more of my mind involved that, when I read for someone else, fine, whatever I see, I'll just say, I'm not attached to it. When it comes to me, I'm critiquing it. I'm thinking about it. I'm saying, I'm making this up. Is this really my soul, my higher self, whatever? So it has been more challenging for me to read my own. So it's something I'm trying to practice more. And I think it's just because it's for you get a bit more in your head and maybe block it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think you can get more attached to, which is why like I still get Akashic Record readings for myself and like get that support, because sometimes you're so close to your own stuff that it can feel like, oh, am I changing what's coming through, or like having resistance or things. So
and can I also say to that too, that I did have one particular moment which was beautiful, where I did bring to my own records a question of something I was struggling with. And when I did sit with it, I had like a younger version of myself come forward, and I asked this younger version of myself for guidance on what I was experiencing, and what came forward was so not what my mind would have thought. And it was in that particular moment I was like, oh wow, like, okay, that was awesome, because that was so helpful. And that is not, I knew in that moment that was not of my mind, because my mind would have just like went somewhere completely different. It was a really beautiful offering. So, to stick with it anyway, because, when you can have that maybe more, I don't know what the word is, but that type of experience where you really do get that message for yourself from your soul, it can have a really profound effect. And it really just helped me so much, because it wasn't something I would have thought of. Like, it did come from that place, that other place,
that's beautiful. And I find the working with previous aspects of myself like so useful. Like I feel like I do that very much regularly, of inner child stuff. Like I feel like there's always healing that's coming forward in that, like as you go deeper, like more comes up and more comes up. So I think to know that I can do so much of that on my own as well, just in the records. And then when I feel like I get stuck, then I can like ask for that support, but that it's that beautiful balance as well. Is that how it feels for you too?
Yeah, absolutely. And also I think I've even, for me, even through the course, like, I don't know why, but I've had this sort of block about past lives. And when anytime a client wanted to talk about that, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. So even for me, sometimes I've found that, if I sit with some of the things that I'm feeling in my life right now, and like I'll get, the energy in my stomach and I don't feel good, I use the records and I'll go there and I'll sit with that. And I'm like, what is this? Where does this come from? And then sometimes I get just this sort of story play out in my mind of a past life. This is something that I was holding on to then, and I can just go with that visual of like, what was the story, what happened, and then kind of be there with myself in a way of like, okay, well, I see you now. This doesn't have to be this way now, and like work with that feeling in that space. And that to me still is a bit trippier for my mind, but it's brought me so much, relief and stuff I've been able to let go of that, we wouldn't really otherwise understand, because we wouldn't have had that access to it, if that makes sense. It doesn't happen for me every time. And again, like you, I still get readings as well, because there's just some stuff that we need that extra help with. But yeah, it's definitely given me more tools even for myself to continue my own growth and healing and awareness, which is such a true gift. Beautiful.
And so we'll wrap it up with the last question. So for anyone that might be on the fence about it, like I know we talk a lot about resistance in the class, but like resistance could be money or time, or can I do it? Or so like if someone's feeling like, oh, this is great for me, but then they are already having that resistance in signing up, like what would you say for them, especially what you know now and just what you know about working with resistance as well?
I would just say that feeling of resistance is everything you need to know about the fact that you should do it, because it's that thing that we fear the most or resist the most that is going to be the most life-changing. And in this process you are going to probably smash that, understand what it was, why it was there, because what's on the other side of that is big. It's it's life changing, you know, and even if it's just on a personal level, whether you read for others or not, it's a beautiful moment of growth to be able to face that, invest in that. And, you know, it is so worth it.
Oh.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, literally, honestly, you know, and the more you use it, the more it gives you, you know. So it's a lifetime. If it's an investment thing, you know, what you're going to pay now is going to like give you a lifetime more value than, you know, it's so worth it.
Yes, that's a beautiful way to put that. And I feel the same too from when I had resistance about signing up when I first took the course, and that I couldn't imagine now, like not having gone through, that it was like, oh, who was I then? And like, look, like I'm so much more me now, which feels wonderful.
And I wouldn't say the same exactly. Like that has given me a part of myself that was missing, and it was something I'd been searching for. I knew there was this empty space, and I was like, what goes here? And when I did this course, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is the part of me that's been missing. And then, like I said, it's just the gift that keeps on giving, because where it's gone from there has just been so much more. It just brings me so much joy, so much joy. And that's so nice to have something like that, you know, it's not a real thing. It's not like a physical thing. It's just an experience of my life that brings me so much joy.
Yeah. And it's like nothing you can lose or nothing anyone can take away from you. It's like, it's just you and your experience, and what could be more meaningful than that, right?
Right, exactly.
All right. So I'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Kate. And I will link your website in the comments if anybody wants to go check out what your offerings are and to experience your beautiful oracle expertise that you have. And so I will end the call here. So I want to say thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
All right.